What's up, Gemini, and welcome to your July 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anybody who's working on their personal growth, self-expression, and spirituality in any form. So if those areas of life are important for you right now, I encourage you to go ahead and keep watching. I also like to just clarify that you can use these readings for your sun, moon, or your rising sign, and it's possible sometimes that they don't resonate, particularly in the beginning of the month. So if that's the case for you, I encourage you to come back to this reading at the end of July and see maybe how some of the themes may have connected. They are general readings, but a lot of times what I get as far as feedback from people is that at the end of the month, some of the symbols and images and messages that came through ended up actually being very closely related to things that happen in our lives. So, all right, Gem, I am super excited to get into this reading for you. So, while I was tuning in for you, I got this message. It was an interesting message because I could kind of hear someone saying, I just want to work with them because they're not being a control freak. Like, I kind of felt like I was hearing somebody saying that about you. And because my readings do tend to focus on, entrepreneurs, artists, people who own businesses, companies, or who are self-employed as well. You have a lot of opportunities to potentially work with other people or collaborate, or there's a lot of co-creation potential for you at this time. But I feel like one of the main reasons that someone in particular wants to either maybe become a client of yours, if you're somebody who offers services to clients, or if you're a life coach, or if you're a healer, or whatever the case may be, I feel like there's someone kind of who's thinking about working with you, and they're just like, they cave, they just have to, because I feel like they just recognize you as somebody who's not going to, I guess, nitpick or control the process. So one of the messages that, if I kind of step back and look at this from like a bird's eye view for you, Gemini, is that a lot comes to you this month when you let go, basically. Like when you take a very soft, sort of feather-light touch, anything is possible for you. So you don't need to exert a ton of willpower. You don't need to go into your, what can sometimes be mercurial perfectionist tendencies, if you do have them, Gemini. And of course that depends on other things in your chart, most likely, but you don't have to be a perfectionist this month. You don't have to, try and focus and make everything the way that you think it should be. It's really like about accepting the beauty of what is, and really authentically and wholeheartedly doing that within yourself, Gemini. That doesn't go unnoticed, especially this month. So if you take this kind of laissez-faire, easygoing kind of attitude to your life, and again, that doesn't mean that you won't be working hard or anything like that. It's more like, honestly, like that I feel that there's like maybe a temptation to start getting like more hard-nosed and more kind of like parsing out the details of things and wanting things to be just a certain way. I think there's going to be a temptation to approach life that way for you, Gem. And so this message is coming through to say, like, when you get that impulse, recognize that that is just an impulse, and that that's not necessarily like what your intuition is telling you to do in the situation. Because actually, if you take this very easygoing attitude, again, doesn't mean you won't get stuff done, but if you take an easygoing approach while you're getting stuff done, other people around you are going to see that, and they're going to be like, wow, like she's not being polished, or he's not being so polished and perfect about it. Like I could work with him because, he just feels like he's really easy to work with, or she feels like she's really fun to work with because she's not picking out every detail. So that's the best approach right now, is just to take an approach of levity with everything that you do. Even if you're a self-employed entrepreneur, whatever you put out, just, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just go with the flow. So that is the message. I'm going to go ahead and get you your tarot spread for Gemini. Gemini spirits, please give us loving, clear, accurate messages for Gemini. Okay, and your Animal Spirit Oracle cards. Okay, and I'm also going to get you your Bob Ross message. Okay, there we go. And we're also going to get a Surrender Oracle card for you. This one. Okay, so let's take a look. Well, we've got the bear and the earthworm, two earthy creatures, huh? It's so freaking funny that you guys got the earthworm. I'm like cracking up on the inside right now because if you read about this card in the Animal Spirit Oracle deck, it's all about embracing beginner's mind. Okay, it's about recognizing that even if you're new at something and you're just starting out, that doesn't mean that what you are offering doesn't have value, first of all. It's about recognizing that, with the earthworm, we can feel pretty insecure about whatever our contribution may be within a certain area of life. And we can be really hard on ourselves because we don't know yet how to accurately judge our contributions, right? Like once we're really good at something, once we've done something for years, we can kind of gauge whether or not we're doing something successfully because we know what it feels like, we have enough experience. But in this context, I feel like with the earthworm, this is like your influence card. So I do feel like many of you are doing something that you don't maybe have a lot of experience with. And the message with this pair, these two very earthy cards, is like wake up to your raw power to just be and exist, and to just feel worthy of that. Like there's something here about embracing, again, it's so funny. It's like coming back to the meditation message. It's crazy. But it's like embracing like with the bear, what is the word that I want for the bear card? It's like, it's something about lumbering forward with the bear energy. Like the bear is a heavy creature, and it can maybe feel like it's, I don't know, symbolically, it could relate to not feeling very graceful. Perhaps it's kind of like an energy of sort of plodding along, but it's good. Like it's what you need to be doing. And I think that it's very possible that other people aren't picking up on the things that you might be telling yourself like are not good enough about what you're doing. Like whatever you're feeling insecure about, Gemini, other people aren't noticing it, so if you just proceed with confidence and find that ability to just be confident and easygoing within yourself, like you're golden this month, okay? So let's take a look at your tarot cards. Queen of Wands with the Four of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, the Chariot, 8 of Swords, the Hanged Man, the Death card, and the Ace of Pentacles. Interesting. All right. All right, Jem. So what I kind of see in this spread for July is actually it feels like you are kind of it sounds funny to say it like this, but I feel like you're kind of hesitantly like prodding yourself into a purposeful new path in your life. And I think part of you is hung up on like some of the stability that you've had in the past. And so it can feel like with the Four of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands, like you can feel that you're burning brighter within your current situation. Like you know that there's some other kind of destiny awaiting you with the Queen of Wands. Like you know that you're shining brighter than your current circumstances allow. With the Four of Pentacles, it's like your daily routine, your current daily routine, your current daily lifestyle, the yoke, you know, the yoke that you wear and like the weight that you pull, to speak in kind of like almost biblical terms, right? Like what you've yoked yourself to, and you're being a workhorse about it. Things are going well with the Queen of Wands, but I feel like you know that you're shining brighter and there's more energy because the Queen of Wands is a card of energy. You have more to give than the situation is really allowing, but at the same time the situation is stable with the Four of Pentacles, so it's hard to kind of drag yourself forward into something that is new and therefore uncertain and unstable, but you also know that you can't keep doing the same thing as always. So I feel that pretty strongly with these cards. Now, what's going on in that first week of July astrologically? There's actually a lot. We do have a lunar eclipse on July 4th, and that is going to be in your 8th house, which is the house of kind of composting. I like to think of it as it's a house of like letting go of things. It's the house when whatever is in the sky is sort of like kind of starting to drift down to the horizon again. So we get this imagery with the symbolism of the 8th house as something that is in decline, something that is falling away to make room for what is rising in the eastern horizon. So the 8th house, that's where the 8th house really gets its associations with death and decline, is just that like from a very astronomical perspective, things are falling down and they're going to disappear beneath the earth. So having a lunar eclipse there in Capricorn in your 8th house really talks about like something in your life that you know, maybe it's a shell, it's a persona, it's maybe a role that you've played, is kind of about to go under the horizon. But, you know, as this energy is going on, this is just a symbol. This could take longer, like a longer process than just in the first week of July for many of you. But it's like a symbolic astronomical thing that kind of shows you like, yes, you are letting go of the past in some significant way. And then you go in the second week of July to the Chariot and the Ten of Cups. So this is really beautiful, Gemini, and I think that one of the things that comes to me first with this pair is that I feel like you, on some level, in the second week of July, are feeling really called to do something, not just because it's what you personally want to do, but because you see the vision of how you can help other people, you know, with the Ten of Cups. But with the Chariot card, it's like you do need to suit up. You do need to prepare. You do need to put on that armor, you know, that he's wearing. So he's prepared. He's not showing up to life without any thought. You know, he's putting that armor together. He's wearing undergarments that are like, you know, specifically made to be worn under armor. And then he's got layers and layers. He's, you know, got his whole chariot. He's got his sphinxes. He's keeping them on the same track. So there's a lot of thought that goes into this. And it's not a small decision that you're making around the middle of the month. There's a lot of planning. There's a lot of planning and a lot of preparation. But the reason that you're doing this is the Ten of Cups. It's because you know that you can either help other people with this, like if it's a business or maybe a new career path, but it could also be that you're doing something for your family or for your community. Like some of you could almost even be considering running for office when I look at this, and I know that's like probably a very specific message for a person, like one person out there, but I almost feel like this is like somebody realizing, hey, you know what, like instead of waiting for other people to do something, I'm gonna just share my beliefs and I'm gonna be effective in whatever way I can because I know I can help these people or I know who I'm doing this for. So something about like really taking the reins and taking some personal responsibility for life, which is so needed right now. Honestly, I think one of the biggest things that we can forget, especially if we're very sensitive and empathic people, one of the biggest things that we can sort of forget, especially in times when we have like a lot of emotionally charged energy in the atmosphere, one of the things we can forget is that if we want to create change in the world, we have to change ourselves. You know, like asking other people to change and telling other people they need to change in order for us to have a better life, that usually doesn't work out so great. And because we're giving our power away, it's this very like rooted element of our personal empowerment. So if we look at someone else and say, you have to change in order for me to have a better life, no matter what spectrum or level that's on, that is ultimately going to only harm us because we have to build up our own life for ourselves. Every human being must do this. And so there's something here about you really being like, you know what, I'm going to be the change that I want to see. Like that's this energy that I see for you, Gemini, is like, I'm not going to ask other people to change their ways. I'm not going to tell other people what they need to do. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do, if I don't see a role model that works for me, like that means I have to be that role model for someone else, you know? It's like that kind of energy of like, whoa, like taking the reins of life and like, wow, doesn't that feel so good? It feels amazing. It feels amazing to not blame other people for anything, but really be like, if this is what I want to see, I have to do it. You know, that is delicious. That is delicious. Taking your power into your own hands again. And so that's what I see is like, it's not just for you either. With the Ten of Cups, like, you know that it's for other people too. There could be a period of like a little bit of doubt that follows that though, because you have the Eight of Swords and the Hanged Man. So one of the things I want to say is like, if you really put yourself out there and you really push yourself in the second week of July, don't sweat it if right away you don't necessarily see like a huge return. Sometimes the universe we have to show the universe that we're leaning into whatever it is that we're trying to create. And we need to prove to the universe and to ourselves that we're doing it because it's either just what's true for us or because it's the right thing to do. And we are not expecting like cookies from the universe. We're not expecting an immediate kudos, right? We're doing the right thing. And that in itself is a reward because we can live in accordance with our conscience and our heart's truth and our ability to, like, it's funny that this is so interesting because it almost reminds me of that phrase, like, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, right? Like, I feel like this is saying, like, your little maybe period of, like, whoa, I'm uncertain, is coming in the fact that with the Hangman and the Eight of Swords, it's like you don't necessarily feel like an immediate uproar of support for what you're doing, but it's coming. It's coming, Gemini. And with the Death card moving into the Ace of Pentacles. This is one of my signatory pairs for moving house. So some of you at the end of the month could be moving, like actually moving your house, or at the end of the month you could be going through some kind of symbolic up-leveling and big shift in your life where you are really letting go of the past. Remember, because you have that lunar eclipse in the 8th house, which is the house of composting, of death and decline. But in our normal lives, obviously, like, that doesn't mean we're going to be facing literal physical death. Like 99.9999% of the time, the death card in tarot doesn't refer to a physical death. It's about a major transformation wherein our old self is cast off and our new self, our new freshest expression of ourselves can be seen. It can come into view. And we have the Ace of Pentacles here. So it's like you have this death and rebirth going on at the end of the month in a very, I want to say in a very shamanic way. It feels very spiritually oriented for you, Gemini. It feels like feeling cleansed and purified because you know that you're being authentic to yourself. And I think that knowledge can give any of us the courage to do things that we never thought that we would be able to do, right? It's a sense of really strong commitment to self, you know? So let's take a look at your Bob Ross message. Oh my gosh, I'm like tripping out on that. Okay, he says, you can move mountains, rivers, trees. You can determine what your world is like. You can move mountains, Gemini. You're moving mountains. And this is gorgeous. This is gorgeous for that Chariot message. You know, whether you're carving out a new path for yourself career-wise, or you are being the change that you want to see in the world in some way. Taking your power back by not letting anyone else dictate to you what your situation is or what your role is, but really owning who you're here to be. I think, like, even if your way of doing that goes against a lot of rhetoric, even if it goes against what the majority of people around you think, it's like letting go of that. Peanut gallery. Like, we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I think, you know, this is a real strong message of empowerment for you, Gem. Let's take a look at your surrender card. It says, surrender to effortlessness. Stop pushing so hard. The art of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river. Whoa. Remember, that was the meditation message that I had where I heard somebody saying they wanted to work with you because you were just not being a control freak about anything. That is the message here. This is a reading that if you're hearing this, Gemini, and you have any inkling that this is for you, this is a reading that majorly cleanses resistance. That's what this reading is about for you in July. It is all about letting go of resistance. Any thought or belief or opinion that builds resistance within you, and you know it because it's negative emotion, if it's building resistance within you, this is a month where you are going to feel so much relief because so much of that resistance that has been building up within you is just going to get completely purified. You're getting a clean slate in terms of resistance. And that's why you can be effortless. That's why you can, you know, go with the flow more easily. And other people are going to pick up on that because there's so much resistance right now. It's crazy. Like, people are just like it's hardcore right now. And so if you can be a beacon of live and let live in the world, if you can be somebody that is exhibiting that heavenly vibration of unity, but you're doing it in a way that is like relaxed, easygoing. You know, I mean, Alan Watts, I remember, talked about in something that I heard from him years ago, and it always stuck with me because he did so much speaking during the time that people were every day living in fear of an atomic bomb going off. It was after Hiroshima, and everybody was on edge all the time, basically, because they all thought the world was going to end like imminently. And he said something that always stuck with me, which was that whoever hits that button that is going to detonate an atomic bomb, if somebody does, whoever hits it is going to be in a state of panic. So, what I took from that is if we're feeling highly emotionally charged and we're feeling reactive to everything that's going on and we're panicking because we have beliefs and ideas and we're being barraged with these beliefs and ideas day in and day out through social media and mainstream media, we are creating the same state within ourselves that is actually the biggest danger to humanity. Because if we can find a way to authentically go with the flow, to find a way to authentically relax into the present moment, a lot of times what we find is that, you know, that's the best way to make sure that we're not doing anything harmful to other people, is actually just by not doing anything at all. Just taking a moment and being like, whoa, I can feel a lot of things happening. I'm just gonna breathe through it and relax. And then you know you're not contributing to the pain in the world. You know that when you are finding that peace within yourself, you are not contributing to wrongdoing because you're just finding your center. And then you act from your center. You act from your truth, your deepest truth, not the truth that arises out of highly emotionally charged atmosphere and panic. So that's what I see for you, Gemini. Very deep reading. I felt like I needed to hear this reading. So let me know in the comments if you felt that too. I would love to hear from you guys if you're still with me. Thank you so much for being here. If you would like to support my channel, please give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below letting me know your thoughts, or just leave me, I don't know, let's say a little 4-leaf clover emoji if you have emojis, so that we can get some good luck and some beautiful vibes going around on this video. And I'm sending you guys tons of love. I hope that you have an amazing month in July. Link to donate any amount is below, and information on the upcoming money workshop for healers is also below, so check that out. And I hope you guys have an amazing month. Take care of yourselves, Gemini, and I will talk to you next time.